Carla Hartley here. It is September 29th, 2020, and I am talking somewhat informally today about how COVID has affected us and continues to affect us. I'm doing this without the somewhat professional cover to be posted first in the wild so that people can have it more accessible to them. Don't have to go to our YouTube page to find it. So, March 13th was when we got the notice of the initial shutdown. We received that about 4:45. It was going to be for 3 days. Well, September 29th, and we're still dealing with a lot of the problems from the COVID closures. The first and most obvious problem was the backlog created by 3 months of the court being mostly closed. The family law courtrooms were open. Well, one courtroom was open to emergency issues only. And we had a good number of those, but the courts stayed open because they felt an obligation, and I think they had an obligation to stay open to deal with emergency issues affecting our families in Ventura County. And that, I think, was managed very well and kept everybody as safe as they could possibly be kept, which I think is evidenced by Ventura County's numbers. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to get into anything other than what I can normally see on the Johns Hopkins webpage. And I'm not even going to talk about what I think of it, because nobody agrees and none of us are scientists, and the scientists don't even agree. So I'm just talking about, I'm an officer of the court. I follow the policies of our courts, and as a licensed attorney in the state of California, I'm going to follow what is required for me to do by the state of California. Period. This is where I work, this is where I live, this is where I'm licensed, these are my courtrooms. I'm going to make sure that my firm stays open. I'm going to make sure that my clients get served. And if that means I have to wear a mask, I wear a mask. If that means I have to bundle myself from head to foot and bathe in hand sanitizer, that's what I'll do. But I'm going to have pretty masks, and I'm going to have nice smelling hand sanitizer that doesn't stink like vodka. And I advise all of you to adopt the same. We're in this, we might as well enjoy it. So the first closure created a backlog. People were still living. Family law courtrooms are about the disputes that arise between people while they are living. And people live every day. They didn't stop living during COVID. So we didn't stop having divorces. I think we may be experiencing an upswing in parentage cases where people broke up who were not married. We're experiencing an upswing in divorces. None of that stopped, but nobody could really file anything until mid-June. So mid-June, we had a lot of filings, and we started getting our judgments out. And those of us who had stayed open were able to start resuming. I'm really happy that this firm, we were able to keep some essential people in the office. So we didn't get too far behind on our filing. We didn't get too far behind on our paperwork. We were able to disperse the people that needed to be dispersed and get them, real computers with large monitors, and give them the ability to log in behind our firewall. And we had people that could message your stuff out to them and back. And we stayed operational. It was difficult. We experienced difficulties. We had some hiccups with our fulfillment of our duties, but we're still here. Now the courts opened up with a backlog and with the added constraint, which is still in place, that they can only have so many people in the courtroom at a time in Ventura County, and probably most of California, the courtrooms that are open. So in Ventura County, every family law judge is seeing fewer people on a daily basis than they previously did. And again, life didn't stop. So we continue to have an increasing backlog. This is simply caused by the rate at which the judiciary is able to get to cases given the social distancing rules and guidelines. And I think the success of this policy is fairly evident if you look at the numbers. I generally go to the Johns Hopkins website and I check our state, and I don't know that our state numbers are fabulous, but I do think Ventura County's numbers are very good. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not trying to provoke political comment. I am not. I'm just saying I look at Johns Hopkins and keep track of it there, period. Moving forward. The problem we're experiencing right now, in addition to these two backlogs, is when you want to get a continuance because you're trying to settle a matter, the court can't necessarily just kick it over a week to give you a chance to settle because they're filled up. People are still filing motions, and we're getting booked further and further and further out. The court is encouraging us to look at private mediation. That is really viable for some of our clients. It is not so viable for others. Some are advising us to look at private judges. Again, that is a possibility for some of our clients. It is not a possibility for others, because even though COVID is here, everybody wants to get paid. And I also want to be paid. I have a mortgage to pay. I have payroll to make. The world goes around and life goes on, and the courts are just jammed up. So the bigger problem that the court is seeing right now, that we're seeing in trying to work with the court, is we have had a $200 million reduction in the budget available to the courts statewide, and this has resulted in a lot of furlough days for court employees, which means the courts are completely closed on those days. For instance, this Wednesday, the court is completely closed. That is normally in family law courts a law in motion day. We'll go in, have motions heard, get interim rulings, or maybe resolve issues. Can't do it. We don't have the court available to us. So we have a bunch of furlough days coming up, and that's going to increase the backlog. Now we still have people that are having kids and people that are separating who have kids, whether they're married or not, and they need mediation dates because mediation is required in California in all cases involving custody, and Ventura County is a recommending mediation county. So about a good chunk of our mediators are out currently on FMLA leave because they have to be home to teach their kids. So this is backing up our ability to get our clients into mediation for child custody issues to resolve that. It's all just backed up. And people need to be patient with the courts, because now I'm going to talk about some of the solutions the courts have come up with. They're starting to figure out how to do some of these things. We have one courtroom on the family law floor now equipped for Zoom, and I understand they're making efforts to equip the other courtrooms. Courtrooms are required to be open to the public unless it is a sealed case. So we now have live streaming in our Ventura County courthouse. That is a nice feature. I find that when we're in court, my staff are listening to the proceedings in the courthouse, and they're getting motivated. I'm hoping some of them decide they want to go to law school and see this through to the pinnacle of their profession, instead of just saying, oh, it's off my plate, let it go. They're getting a lot more motivated and a lot more invested in the work we do for every single client, and I think that's good. I like it. And so I'm not telling my staff they cannot listen to what's going on in these cases. I want them to listen. I want them to see the process from start to finish. We try to educate everyone here. We do educate. We put our paralegals in school. We put people in school to become paralegals. We put people through law school if we can do so, or if they want to. That is more rare. We send people to MCLEs. My paralegals get more continuing legal education credit on an annual basis than most family law attorneys in Ventura, or even in the state, will bother to attend. So there you have that. This is part of the educational process. It is a good thing. We are, in addition to the streaming, we are seeing that the mediators are not seeing the children so much. Basically, the children are not ordered to mediation unless, after meeting with the parents, the mediator feels that it would be helpful to actually speak with the children. And then the court makes that order. So on the one hand, this is helping keep everybody safe in the courthouse. On the other hand, it is adding to that backlog, because now we have another mediation space being taken up to talk to somebody's children. Instead of one mediation date, it's taking two. And we already have not enough mediators. So tremendous challenges being posed to the judiciary, just tremendous challenges, and they're working through them. The mediation department, I think, has gotten a hold of some technology that is going to permit remote video conferencing. And I think the Family Law Bar Association is going to, or has reached out to the presiding judge to see if we could provide them with a few more of those items. We are not allowed to donate money to the court, but we can donate things, I believe. And so we're looking at what we can do, what would be most helpful to get the mediation department up and running. And God help us, if there's a way we can get some mediators mediating even from their homes while they're teaching their kids, I don't know if it's possible for them, but it would be fabulous for us. What else are they doing? Bailiffs, highly trained sheriff's deputies are now disinfecting every square inch of the courtrooms. And they're doing it happily and with a good will, because their goal is to keep everybody open and safe as well. I can't emphasize enough how impressed I am with everyone who has worked so hard in these courts. And I have to say, for myself, sitting in a courtroom all day long with a mask over my face while I'm in trial, I don't do that every day. We have people that are sitting on these benches that are in these courtrooms all day, every day, and they have to wear these masks. And I don't know about you guys, I find it more difficult to breathe through the mask. I do not have asthma. I don't have any underlying health conditions. And I don't like it. So I cannot imagine that they're finding it a great deal of fun. But everybody is doing it. And here's the most remarkable thing. Nobody's complaining. The bailiffs aren't complaining. The court reporters aren't complaining. We're not hearing the mediators complaining, not hearing the people out in front complaining, not hearing the judges complaining, not hearing anybody complaining. The only people who are complaining are the people who have to show up every now and then to go to court. And I would ask everyone to keep in mind what tremendous efforts the courts are making to stay open, to keep serving people, to assist people in every way that they can, and to meet their mandate to provide justice for everyone and to provide access to justice for everyone who needs it. All right, this has gone on a little long. I think this will be the only video I do this week because it is long, and I do want the subtitles on it. So I'm going to send it off to my peeps to do that. I hope I have given an accurate picture of some of the challenges the court is facing. I hope I have given an accurate picture of some of the challenges we as family law attorneys are facing. And I hope that if you do need to get into the court, that you will be patient and kind to the people who are doing their level best to ensure that you are able to do so. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good week. And I am off to court this afternoon. And that makes me happy because I love what I do. I love the mission this firm has. And I am determined not to lose it. Have a good day. Bye-bye.